Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven and this is the Storytime channel. Today we have some I Don't Work Here Lady stories, and our first story of the day is by MHR Toadswaltzer. Yeah, call security, you're in for a surprise. This happened many 22 years ago, so some of the conversation may not be exactly verbatim. Back when I was about 19 to 20 years old, I worked in a UK video game store in a shopping center. Our uniform was a dark aquamarine/green polo shirt with the store name embroidered in purple on the chest and sleeves. Smart black trousers. During my lunch break, I would usually just walk around the different stores in the shopping center. I decided to have a look around a hardware store where their uniform is a bright red polo shirt with the store name emblazoned across the back in bright yellow. I walk into the store, give a nod and say hi to the security guard as I pass by them. I take a brief wander around the shop just browsing. I look at my watch and head to go back out of the store. In the doorway of the store stand two rather large women just chatting away, blocking the entrance/exit of the store. Now, I'm a very polite person and I hate confrontation, but I need to get back to work. Excuse me, can I get past please? I get ignored. I wait a few seconds thinking maybe they'd see me and move. Not a chance. They just keep talking. Excuse me, I need to get past. Which number one looks at me derisively and carries on her conversation. Look, I'm going to be late for work. Could you please move? Once again, I'm ignored. By now, I'm getting pretty fed up. I hate being ignored and raise my voice just a little bit. Will you please get out of the darn doorway? I'm trying to get to work and you're being incredibly inconsiderate by blocking the doorway to the store. Either step in or outside of the store to carry on your conversation. I need to get past. At this point, they both offer up the huff of the entitled who think they can do what they please. Which number one says, "Get lost, you arrogant prick, get back to work." Which two smirks smugly at me and they both carry on chatting away. I say, I am trying to get back to work, but you are blocking the door. Get your butt out of the way. Which one says, you can't talk to me like that. I will talk to you however I darn well please. Now get out of my way. You're making me late. I step forward under the assumption she will finally see sense and move. Wrong. At this point, I will point out that I'm a scrawny little guy. Which number one says, get away from me. She recoils as if I just gave her a hefty smack in the mouth. At this point, Witch 2 sees the security guard and beckons for them to come over. The security guard says, "What seems to be the problem here?" Witch 2 says, "This horrible man just insulted us and pushed my friend for no good reason." The security guard says, "I doubt that." Witch 2 says, "Are you calling me a liar?" The guard says, "Kinda." "Get me the manager, I want both of you fired, you can't talk to us that way." At this point, CCTV operator comes out of an office located behind the cash registers and walks over. They say, "What's going on?" Witch 2 says, "These two employees just assaulted my friend and I want them fired." CCTV operator says, "Well, no, they didn't and I can't do that anyway." Which number one says, "How would you know? You've been hiding in your office the whole time." The CCTV operator says, "Firstly, these are both my kids. My son doesn't even work here. I mean, just look at his shirt. It's not even close to the same color. And my daughter here is the security guard for this store, and I am the CCTV operator. And I have been watching you the whole time. Now please remove yourself from the doorway so that other people can get in and out of the store before I have security remove you." Note, my sister is the total opposite of me. She is built like an American footballer, and while good-natured and funny, she doesn't take crap from anyone and is very protective of her siblings. My dad then looks at my sister, who in turn offers the two a smug, crap-beating grin. The two women start sputtering and trying to come back with some sort of retort. My sister begins to advance on them, which is quite intimidating when she's in a bad mood. They give up and slink away. I tell my dad and sister I'll see them at home later and headed back to work. Luckily, it was a quiet day, and after telling my boss the story, he wasn't bothered that I was late back. He had quite a good chuckle about it actually, because he knew my dad and sister as well. Let me ask you guys, Are you the type that wouldn't be afraid to get a little loud or intimidating to these couple of ladies standing in the doorway not letting you through? Or do you feel you're kind of the person that's a little maybe too polite and would do kind of the same deal as OP here? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by Parapixie, Mistook Ghostly Apparition for my boss. Bit of context. This was 4 years ago. I work in caregiving in what's called an ISL for the intellectual/mentally disabled population. I do everything from cooking, medication distribution, grocery shopping, basic housekeeping, adult diaper changing, bathing, etc. I'm a glorified nanny, and we staff are sometimes the only family they've got. Management was iffy, and the office management were brutal. They have what's called pop-ins where management can come up unannounced to see how we're doing. This helps against theft of narcotic meds, money, abusing the disabled, etc. The company can send any manager, anytime, and all doors are unlocked/open overnight. Where I worked, it was this beautiful 5-bedroom home. Open concept, upstairs bedroom, then 2 downstairs. It was nice. It even had a visiting room. I wish I had a house as nice as this one. Onto my I don't work here lady / ghost story. I was working a long shift. I was in my 11th hour in, but I was fully awake and conscious. I started my day at 9 a.m., and when this happened, it was 10 p.m. I wasn't that tired. I've worked longer, harder, and I wasn't always on my feet. I was in the visiting room taking a break with my shoes off watching YouTube videos. My female coworker was in the living room laying down watching TV. Our individuals/people we support were all asleep. There were 4. Down the spiral stairs in a mostly dark house comes this younger male, thin, age between 18 and 24. His hair is neat and he passes by the guest room and said, "Hello," like he did it on a regular basis. I had been looking down at my phone and almost didn't catch it. I was thinking, oh crap. I scrambled to put my shoes on, put my phone away, and got up to see where this random pop-in manager went. He had gone down the hallway, but I didn't want to wake the individuals sleeping in their rooms. Managers were required to check on them upon arrival, so that's what I thought he was doing. I couldn't find him anywhere, so I asked my coworker where the pop-in manager went. She must have seen him because I would have heard him walk in the front door. The back door was visible to my coworker when she was in the living room. Like I said, open concept. She was confused. What manager? We searched the house and I told her what I saw. This dude didn't match any description of any of our individuals, and he essentially vanished down the hallway that had no alternative back door. The only explanation I have is it was a ghostly apparition. My coworker laughed at me after this. I had resigned shortly and moved to a different company after for unrelated reasons. Maybe this spirit sensed I was leaving and wanted to give me a farewell. I'm not sure, but I swear to God, I saw a guy from the corner of my vision walk down a flight of stairs and down the hall like he was a pop-in manager. We would have heard him enter either the front or back, but we didn't. Thanks for reading. I've never witnessed anything like this, and I've never really experienced anything that really would make me believe in such a thing. It really makes you wonder what they saw, how they could have saw it, what it was. Was it real? Was it actually a ghost or an apparition? Have any of you guys actually seen ghosts? Let me know. This next story is by FDBW03, 2 Karen stories for 1 family. So over the last week, my husband and I both have had to deal with some obnoxious Karens. My husband's experience happened first over the weekend. My husband works for a contractor's company and was working at a local large hospital for some renovations/upgrades. He was in the cafeteria waiting for 2 other guys so they could get to work and was very clearly wearing his company's shirt that in large white letters says the company's name and wearing a badge with his face and company name and had tools on a tool belt. Husband is darling husband and Karen is K. I wasn't there, so this is how my husband told me it happened, which was backed by his 2 coworkers who came in when it got good. Karen says, "Excuse me, I want someone to go get me food from place famous for chicken only." Husband says, "Sorry, I don't think they have that here." He goes back to playing a game on his phone or something. All he remembers is he went back to his phone. "So you aren't going to go get it?" No, I'm waiting for my guys to start work." Karen shoves her leg into my husband's face. "I'm a patient here and you have to take care of me. I want food from that place and find someone competent enough to know to put the band on my wrist, not a leg." I don't work for the hospital. The registration desk is down the hall. Maybe they can help. My guys are here, so I'm going to start work. Have a nice day. She then grabbed his arm in full view of coworkers that had just come up. I know you work here. Now go get me food. Ma'am, I don't work here. Please let go of me. My husband is careful not to jerk away in case she falls, since it's a hospital. He made sure she was steady and pulled his arm away and started walking towards the elevators. Get back here and get me whoever is in charge of you to have you fired. I'm in charge of my guys today and we are leaving. It wasn't that exciting and he didn't see her for the rest of the day, but he got heck from his coworkers about it. Now my experience, which was yesterday. I work in an office building which shares about 20 separate offices with other companies. I have one near the end of the hall on the second floor by a door that's always locked. My coworker's office is down the hall, so my door is normally open for people coming to get checks or drop off contracts and checks. Further down the hall is a few other offices occupied, one of which is a place that orders COVID tests and other lab tests to be sent to an independent lab. Earlier yesterday, I heard the owner of that office on the phone with someone yelling to calm down and be respectful or he wouldn't help her. I ignored most of it because it's not my business. Fast forward to yesterday afternoon and someone opened the door on the opposite end from me and started stomping down the hall. There are clear signs on the door and even arrows to point you to the specific office you need, and the elevator has office numbers. Mine is 12 and the other one is 16 for instance. Stomping continues and some lady wearing no mask, coughing up a storm, barrels into my office, slamming the back door into the wall. I had it slightly closed. I'll be M for me and owner will be O and lady will be B for, well, you know. I have never been spoken to so rudely in my life. How dare you speak to me that way earlier? Keep in mind the person she spoke to earlier was a guy with a deep voice in his 60s and I'm in my 20s and obviously pregnant. Excuse me? Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step out of my office and put on a mask and speak calmly or I will not help you. How dare you? I have respiratory issues and don't have to wear a mask. That is all fine and good, but in my office, you have to wear a mask for my and my child's protection or I will not help you. Either put on the mask or leave. I had no idea who she was yet and thought someone was mad at my company. B starts to come around my desk to come even closer to me and I grabbed hand sanitizer. Closest thing. If you come any closer, I will call the police and I will defend myself. Back up and put on a mask. B grumbles but steps back until she's in the doorway. You sent me to a place for COVID testing that had a bunch of people in the waiting room and now I'm testing positive because you sent me there. What are you going to do for me? I demand a refund and for you to comp my next tests and visits. Okay, not my company, so I'll tell her. But who the freak comes into an office with no mask after testing positive? I'm in quarantine until I can get a test done. You're in the wrong office. It's down the hall in suite 16. I don't work. Yes, you do. I talked to you earlier, witch. No, you didn't, and I don't work for them. I work for XYZ Carpenter office. Get out now before I call the police. I will tell them you caused me to get COVID and have you arrested for endangerment. At that point, the owner of my company came back and came to hear what the commotion was about. She came up, heard the police bit, and decided to step in. Excuse me, why are you harassing my employee? She yelled at me over the phone and made me get COVID. You're COVID positive and not wearing a mask to spread it to my employee and this entire building? You need to leave now or I will be calling the police. You wouldn't dare. The owner then says, OP, go ahead and call, I'll stay right here until they get here. I started typing the number into my phone and the lady ran down the hall and out the door. Told the other office about it, and they had all the information and will take care of it with a report. But seriously, now I'm in quarantine and so is my boss and I'm just hoping I don't have it. I think it's safe to say that these are some of the worst kinds of people in the world, man. They literally test positive and they don't care about anybody else at all, that they can't wear a mask even when they know they can spread it to other people. And our final story of the day is by Sir Xanthor. Karen demands I work a shift for a store I don't work for. A few weeks ago, was woken by a phone call at about 5:13 a.m. by some snotty woman demanding I work the weekend when I don't even work for them or retail for that matter. This is how it all went down. 5:13 a.m., phone wakes me up. Hello?
This is Terry from B-Mart. Lucy, you have to work this weekend.
Me trying to grasp reality as my brain is still sleeping and I don't know any Lucy or this caller Terry. Hey Terry, you dialed the wrong number. Lose it, please. I hang up the phone and almost drift back to sleep when it rings again and I stupidly answer it.
You hang up on me again, I will fire your butt. You are to work the weekend or find another job.
No, she didn't say but, she said much worse, and now I decided to have some fun with this. The result was very lifting, I might add. Caller had a southern accent, so no clue how they could even be calling me to begin with. Terry, if you want me in, it's overtime Saturdays, double time Sundays. I want this in writing or I will not come in. Figured this would end the call and I could get back to sleep, and only disturbance would be my daughter's cat who decided to pay me a visit and dig her claws into my covers, ignoring the fact that she's sharpening them on me. I was dead wrong. I had to listen to Terry give me some spiel on company policy for full-timers and openability. I cut her off in mid-sentence. Terry, I could care less about company policy. You want me to work this weekend? You are paying me what I require and you're putting this in writing. Also, because you annoyed me by waking me twice, I will now only work double time Saturday and triple time Sundays. Take it or leave it. Oh, don't forget, that's $15 an hour. That means $30 an hour Saturdays, $45 an hour I never got to finish saying Sunday because this is what happened next.
Holy crap, I don't even make $15 an hour, why the heck do you?
Next thing I know, her yelling attracted other staff and I can hear yelling in the background of why the heck does she make $15 and I only get $9, with others in the background yelling why is Lucy getting $15? And I could no longer make out who was saying what other than Terry telling someone I refuse to come in unless I get overtime, which is when some guy takes over the call.
This is Bill, the general manager. Lucy, what is this about not coming in unless you get overtime, and where the heck are you getting $15 an hour from?
I say, you want me in? Those are my terms. Stop calling and waking me. I can hear Bill in the background with all the commotion saying that doesn't sound like Lucy, it sounds like a guy. For that insult, it's now triple time the entire weekend. We have a deal? Click. It was then my wife wakes up and asks me what that was all about. Told her it was work calling me to let me know I had the weekend off. I go back to bed, kitty sleeping on top purring. To be fair, I don't really blame OP for doing this, but I would also feel bad about doing it because if somebody's that gullible, you might be putting Lucy's job on the line or getting them into needless drama, and considering they work retail, they probably already have enough crap to deal with. Thankfully, they caught on to it at the end and hopefully Lucy isn't in too much trouble. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which story and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. And if you haven't, subscribe and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you do, whether it's just viewing the video, liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, I appreciate the heck out of it. Every little thing that you do helps the channel grow that much more, and I can't thank you enough for it. So until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll be right here next time on the Storytime channel.